RHR Workshop is dedicated to the old ways, offering a wide selection of animist ritual supplies, divination tools, altar goods, and home decor, including premium reindeer hides imported from traditional herders in northern Finland. Whether you're just starting your spiritual journey or looking to expand your collection with a custom drum, we have everything you need. Visit our online store at fjalvatir.com and discover the beauty of mountain spirit.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Random Heathen Ramblings podcast, where we get into all sorts of things Germanic heathenry related. My name's Jesse, and I'm your host. And we've already gotten into it. I totally blew through my intro by just getting into the spirit of the live stream, which we are live now on YouTube and Facebook. So wherever it is that you're catching this or watching from, definitely be sure to leave a comment down below and let us know where you're watching from. And if you have questions or want to share your thoughts about anything, feel free to drop them again down there in the comments, and we'll bring your comments up on screen, give you a shout out, and answer them as we go along. So again, welcome to this week's episode. It's a monthly live stream here that we do every month on Monday nights, just to connect with the community, get some guests on here sometimes, which we do have a guest lined up with us today. He will be joining us on screen just in a little bit. But in the meantime, if you guys have never watched a live stream before, welcome. This is just kind of like an open panel for all you viewers and supporters to get your minds shared with us, and I can answer your questions or, just talk about whatever it is that you got on your mind. We do these once a month. If you're listening to this on the audio platforms after the live stream, just subscribe to my YouTube channel or follow me on Facebook to see when I'll be going live next. And thank you to the patrons on Patreon who do support this production through your patronage over there at patreon.com/MidgardMusings. That is normally where you get all of my video productions. Little clips and highlights get shared throughout the week on both Facebook and YouTube. And speaking of Facebook, we have David Klenn checking in. Good evening. Glad to see you again. Thank you, David, for hopping in. Assuming you probably have work later on, but it's great to have you here early on. So thank you for commenting. And good to see you too, man. So yeah, all the patrons on Patreon that have been supporting, thank you very much for your patronage and for supporting the production of this show the way you do. For all you listeners, again, head over to patreon.com/MidgardMusings and join at the Carl tier, which is just like $1 pledge, and you get the access to the video stuff. So all that's going to be linked down below in the description area, guys. Just check it out. There's a Linktree link that has all of my socials and all of my website information, my merchandise, my blog site. All that stuff is there. So just check it out. And yeah, that'll be about all I've got to say on that housekeeping thing. So hope you're all doing well. And if you are watching this, wherever you're watching it from, help spread the news and share it around if you don't care. Get some attention drawn to it. So without further ado, as we get moving along here, I'm going to bring on screen my guest for this week. He's a return guest. He's been on the show before. He's going to be talking to us today in between comments that come in about some of his recent involvement in the heathen/pagan community down there in northern Alabama. And welcome back to the show, Blake from Scalded Works. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing okay.
Good. It's good to have you back. And hopefully you're staying dry and you ain't got blown away down there with all these storms and stuff coming through.
Yeah. Yeah, we I think the big storms were supposed to come tomorrow night.
That's what I was seeing. It's out west right now. I heard Missouri got like an F3 somewhere, an F3 tornado right around St. Louis, I think.
Yeah.
Did you hear that?
No, I did not.
Yeah. Missouri, Kansas, all out there right now is getting blown around. Oklahoma, I think. So all of that that's out there tonight and out there is coming our way from the south. So it's a little bit in like northeast Texas, like near the Dallas area, Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, and then it's sweeping over. So for anybody that does listen to this show right now, if you're listening or watching this, if you're out in those areas, I hope you're all safe and sound. Yeah, hunker down, bunker down. I was talking to some people earlier today, saying that yeah, do all the physical things, but don't forget your, ward your spaces and bless the land and give your offerings and things to the
Yeah.
divine and to the spirits, for protection too, because that's part of preparing. I think it's
Yeah.
maintaining those relationships. You know.
Yeah. Like last night, I had a prolific dream though. I had a dream that I was looking at the radar,
Mhm.
and it was like this big, like Category 5 hurricane barreling towards like Gulf Shores, like Alabama,
Yeah.
like straight for us. And I'm like, uh
Ooh.
oh.
Maybe you had some foresight there, man. I hope it's nothing like that that's
Like
coming, but
I
a little
I
early
don't
in the
think
year
it's a
for
little early.
hurricanes.
It's a little hurricanes right now. So, but yeah, I had just paused in my dreams one time because I knew that we were having storms, I guess, and in my in my subconscious, it
Mm,
it planted that, I guess.
yeah,
So hopefully it's nothing too prolific.
let's hope not. I mean, like I said, I know it's still early in the year for hurricanes, but it's definitely
Yeah.
tornado season, which I don't.
Oh yeah.
I say they don't usually get tornadoes down that south or that far south, but we also, I don't know, did you guys?
Oh, we
No, I
do.
don't think you did. We had an earthquake here in Tennessee last
Oh
week.
yeah. I heard
Like
about that.
like a semi-mile, like it was like a 4.1 or something like that. No,
Yeah.
maybe
It
it was
was like
maybe it
on
was
the Tennessee North Carolina line.
it was out it was about 30 miles, I think, west of Knoxville and Greenbeck.
Oh yeah.
So up there in the northeast tip area.
Yeah.
But I'd been hearing that people had felt the aftershock of it
Yeah.
as down far, like as far out as like Atlanta, Georgia,
Oh yeah.
and even a
The
little bit
thing,
down
the
here in
thing,
my area, Tennessee. There were
well, the thing is, if we
mumbles.
ever feel one big here, it will be a big one because close to here where we're at is the New Madrid fault line.
That's yeah, Memphis,
Um,
out close to Memphis
yeah.
there. Yep.
Last time they had a big earthquake with that line, it reversed the Mississippi flow.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, and there's another fault line, a smaller one, but there's another fault line out close, yeah, out east. So we've got two on either ends of the state.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
so yeah, I don't know about how that stuff usually works, but if like imagine if one triggered the other,
Yeah.
East
Oh
Tennessee would
yeah.
become West Tennessee, maybe, or not even. Who knows? Like it would
Yeah.
be catastrophic.
The Appalachians rise to their peaks once more.
Yeah, right. Appalachia takes over, and we're just left in the rubble.
Gets higher than the Rocky Mountains within a day. Oh
Imagine, imagine that.
yeah.
That'd be nuts. So, but what else is new with you? What's going on? When are we going to get a new Skull It Works album or a record
I'm
or
still
something? I don't
working on
know.
new material. It's been a
Yeah,
slow process. I've been busy with other things, predominantly work, and then learning new instruments, of course.
sure.
Like I recently started discovered my love for the mandolin once more a couple of months ago, and I've been taking I take lessons even though I don't really think I need lessons sometimes, but I
Hmm.
think I just need to improve and just keep me on track, you know.
Oh yeah,
And we pull out and it helps build up my long lost skills like reading music and stuff like that. We've been working on and
yeah. Got a whole new
transcribing it to the
skills.
mandolin as well. It's like taking it to the mandolin, and so it's actually picking up pretty quickly because that's like I was amazed how it just all clicks back.
It must be like kind of like riding a bicycle or something, probably,
Oh
right?
yeah, yeah. I haven't
Or,
touched it in over about 10 years.
huh,
Mm,
that's cool. Well, you do have some sort of a new song out, right? I think
yeah,
how new is your newest material?
about a couple months. It's about a couple months old. It started. I recorded at the start of this year. It's called Healer's Chant. Um, I need to get that to you as well. Um,
I know it's on Spotify. So if you
it's on
guys are looking
Spotify.
for
Yeah,
Scald It Works,
yeah,
there's only one of them out there. So and then just Healer's
yeah,
Chant. It's got that, and he's got his
yeah,
other song up there too.
yeah. It's also got Call the Ancestors. I'm still
Oh,
working on other ones one of my songs that I want to record. I tried to record it, and it was just a nightmare to record because I can't get the timing right, the metering.
Mm.
It's one I titled "Dance of the Vatir."
Oh, cool.
It's got this like real upbeat, like Russian, like Slavic type beat to it.
Okay.
Um, Also, probably more like um, Finnish type beat, kind of like. So it's like really. So it's like da 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 da, and it's like I can't figure out what time it is to
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
set my click track to get it to me hitting that beat right. But I have it in my head how I want to record it, but just getting it all set up to record is the problem with that. So I may have to try something different until I figure it out.
Yeah,
And
transferring it from your brain to the paper to the studio. Yeah, it's like
oh yeah, exactly.
takes some effort. I can see that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's like I think it seems like it's in 3/4 time, but I could be wrong.
Only way to know, I guess, would be to play with it and see how it goes. You know.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So,
I wish I could find a software that can transcribe it for me.
there's got to be
Like,
something out there like that with
yeah,
all the AI stuff nowadays. I'm
oh
sure.
yeah, they just can hear it and then play it and throw it in there.
Yep. But what's the fun in that? You know, then you don't
I
get to learn
know.
anything. It's too
Yeah, I
convenient.
know. Yeah, I may ask, but my music, my teacher, my mandolin instructor, he plays violin as well. He's like a string instructor,
Mhm.
but he likes nearly every kind of music out there. So he's not just like bluegrass or folk. He so I I mean he's kind of like really down to earth, and he knows my background, you know, and stuff like that, and he knows what I play and all the instruments I play and stuff. And he also plays like drums and stuff. So I may pitch it to him, see if he can help me figure that out
Yeah. You
eventually.
know, what
So
could hurt? What could
maybe
be
I
the
need
harm
to
from
talk
that?
to him about that, and we can figure that beat out a little
Yeah,
bit
man,
better.
get
Than
some collaborating going on. You know, so
yeah,
that could help get you over that hump.
yeah,
You know, or whatever. I don't know.
yeah.
Definitely. Speaking of
Because
music, though, you got a chance to perform somewhat recently, though, didn't you? In
oh yeah,
at an
I
event
had
or something.
I had two events I had to play this month. It originally was supposed to start out with Jakob Loon coming to the Ravenwood Meadery here in Huntsville, Alabama. However, due to the current situation at the border, they didn't feel like it was right for him to come at this time due to his busy schedule, and he didn't want to be detained here for longer than he should. And so they decided to cancel it for now, and they postponed it to indefinitely. And
Yeah,
so then we were supposed to have. Are you familiar with Karin Dahlstrom?
heard of her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. She recently had a book that come out. Actually, I had that. I got that book too. But she was going to do like a signing while he was there, as well as she was just
Mhm.
going to be there just as a guest because she wanted to come when Jakob came. But she was going to be here anyway, and she said that they were going to do a whole weekend of her of runic stuff, you know.
Right.
Well, they couldn't sell enough tickets, so they had to cancel that. So it just became a spring feast and a maypole dance that I played for that Saturday the 10th
Yeah, yeah. Just this
of
past
May.
weekend there. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then this past weekend, we had a late Beltane event just to lift the spirits of people. So we kind of melded it
Yes.
in with Midsummer, kind of like the it was not a ritual. They don't classify it as ritual because these
Yeah.
events like Wicker Man, Beltane, whatever they do, she don't want to associate it as a pagan event or advertise it as a pagan event because of the atmosphere down here.
Yeah. I get
She
that.
wants to leave it open for all and open to interpretation as much as possible. She don't call it rituals. It's more like festivals to her.
Sure.
So what we did is she had me. She asked me to come play the event because it was a free event, free for people to come. She asked me to play the drum, so I brought my big davul, of course, and I was the solo drummer that played the opening ceremony, and
Nice.
then led every other person that wanted to bring a drum in. So I was like in charge for the first time ever, and that was
Oh
kind
yeah,
of a little
dude.
bit of nerve
That's
wracking for
great.
me because I haven't done something like that. I'm usually just following people as much as possible, unless it's
Yeah, yeah.
playing the tackle harp by myself. And oh, and I forget to mention that before I did all that, back in April, I did a Ostara thing in Decatur
Oh yeah,
where
did you?
yeah, and I'm not sure if I posted it on my main YouTube. I didn't put it on my Facebook. I don't think I put it on my Scholarly Works page Facebook, but
Uh,
my page. But
yeah.
I think I put it on my personal page. But it was I was supposed to. I had like about an hour to play, but I ended up playing for 25 minutes for some reason because I couldn't keep track. You
Mm,
know,
yeah.
because one, it was just poor. It was like I wish I had a better setup where I could hear myself better.
Oh yeah.
But I had an impromptu person play like a djembe, a little small djembe, or a small drum with me and stuff. That just asked
Nice.
me to play. I'm like, sure, play, come on.
Yeah, let's do
And
it.
that was kind of cool. That was kind of cool.
Sweet.
And but I just ran out of ideas, and it's hard to keep it up because the temperature was causing the thing to go out. And then my bow, I recently tried to rehair it, but I did not was not successful. So I had to get me a new bow anyway. So I had that one on the way. So
Yeah.
but it was just so loose and stuff. I'm like, I'm not trying to rehair my bows again for a while until
Yeah.
I figure it all out. I'm just gonna just
Just get
get
new
a new
ones
one
altogether.
that's
Yeah.
rehair. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
What's up, Schizo? Sorry to not address you earlier. Just Schizo from YouTube joined, just saying that he's pretty sure he's going to be get himself a drum set for his own birthday in August, and can't wait to start teaching himself to play. Good luck with that, man. I love the
yeah,
drums. My dad played drums. My grandfather played drums.
yeah,
I love the drum. It's the heartbeat
yeah.
of nature. You know, that just connecting in
Yeah.
that rhythmic
Yeah.
medicine. So
Only thing I haven't tried to do is actually a set, like a
like a
modern
drum
drum
kit.
set,
Yeah, yeah.
like a kit, because I don't think I'm that coordinated. Like I can't coordinate this and my foot at the same time.
Right.
I
Yeah.
can do that later on. I'm actually thinking about getting like a kick drum, like a small kick drum,
Hmm.
so I can use for my tackle harper to get that like steady
Yeah.
beat, the
Uh,
sound like my davul, you know,
Do you
for when I
know?
play.
Yeah, for sure. Do you know who Aeolia is?
No,
E O Aeola or something. It's Eoyla or Eoyla. He's French, and
huh?
he's he's like a bardic uh skull. You know, I mean, he performs music. He's got music on YouTube. He's got a Facebook
Oh
page,
yeah,
but he goes live almost. He goes live um on certain days of the week on his Facebook or YouTube, and I don't know if he
yeah,
does Twitch or wherever he does it, Discord.
yeah,
But anyway, he's got this great like audio and video setup where he's playing a usually like he's playing some sort of stringed instrument. So sometimes
oh yeah,
it's like a mandolin, sometimes it's a lyre or a tagal harp, but he's usually playing like a mandolin or something like that. Then he's
yeah,
got over here, he's got a freaking didgeridoo, and
yeah,
he's got a kick drum and like bells or tambourines or whatever.
yeah,
And he's playing this all together and singing at the
yeah,
same time. He's got a great
yeah.
singing voice.
I know
But
some
yeah,
people will do like multiple, like do like in their videos. I never could figure out how to do this type of video where that you have like it's like a music video, but you show each instrument coming in as
yeah,
it
different
comes in,
camera angles and stuff. Like, yeah,
or the camera shows different instruments. Like you
right.
have like one camera and you're playing different instrument as it's mic'd in front of a microphone, and so I don't know how that's done. I don't think I could have that capability of doing that from music videos and stuff. The best I did with a music video was that one for Call the Ancestors, where I did use stock footage to make
Hmm.
string it together, and it looked pretty good.
Yeah, that's his Facebook page, guys. And he's also got a YouTube channel, but it's Eolya, Eolia, I guess is how it's pronounced. But he's
Yeah.
French. He does speak
Yeah.
English, but he's a French native, and he's just guys, just check him out. I'll follow him on Facebook and
Yeah.
YouTube because and Blake, you'll like him because man, he's a
Yeah.
multi instrumentalist. And he does
Yeah.
it all at once, and it's like studio production
Yeah.
quality during a
Oh
live
yeah.
stream. It sounds and looks so good. You'll be
Yeah.
jealous, I think.
I'm just trying to figure out how to do like a one man setup for live events.
Man, just get the stable internet, I guess, cameras and the software to
Yeah.
to plug all your stuff in, so that way it's coming through
I'm talking
audibly
about
and
like when I
clear.
play in person. When I play in person, like when I did for that Star Festival
Oh,
thing,
oh, oh.
I wanted to eventually get me a looper, like a vocal looper,
Hmm.
so I can loop something in and then play something else.
Oh, I got you now. I see what you're
Yeah,
saying. Yeah.
and then I might also just get a kick drum, like a small kick drum, or a what they
Yeah.
call a kick. It's kind of like a cajon, but you can use a kick pedal with it.
Cajones, eh? Okay.
Yeah, like a cajon.
Like the balls or the cajones. No. No.
Yeah, like a KJON
I know,
cajon.
I know. I'm just
Yeah,
kidding. What's up,
yeah,
Michael? He said missed the start, but I'm here now. Yeah, man. This is Blake here from Skull It Works. We're just talking about music and I'm just looking crap
cajones.
up. So he's talking about beating his nuts against the drum. Was that Step Brothers? I'm gonna drag my nuts on your drum set. He's talking about dragging his nuts on his drum set, guys. No, but
PG-13,
that would be.
PG-13.
I said nuts, testiculars. We'll use the medical term, testicles.
Testicles.
The great Roman general, the great Roman general Testicles,
Please.
and his brother Biggest Dickus. That's a Monty Python reference for those of you that don't know. I think the audience knows well enough that was a Monty Python reference. Did you ever get into Monty Python?
Yeah.
Like, do you? Okay.
Yeah.
Some people can't stand that kind of humor. I get
Yeah.
a kick out of it.
I haven't seen every Monty Python, but I need to go back and watch them all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Life of Brian.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's
Holy,
one I haven't
Martha
seen.
and the Holy Grail. Really?
Yeah.
Man.
I've seen the Quest for the Holy Grail. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
It's but a flesh wound. Well, no, it's not. Your arm's off. No, it isn't.
it's like what is the flight path of a swallow? African or English? I don't know.
Oh, geez.
No, what's funny is when they were arguing about it on top of the castle battlements.
Yeah.
He was up going towards the castle, and they were talking about it at first, and that's where he got it from. And it's like they were arguing over which species.
Michael Thacker said, "Don't go getting testy here." Yeah. Yeah. Oh God, the balls are going to start rolling now. What's up,
Yeah.
David? All right, David. Have a good night too. Heading to work. Have a good one. Hail the gods. Have a good night. Thanks for joining. And thank you, everybody, here for joining our monthly live stream. If you have a question or something that's on your mind that you'd like for us to talk about, please drop them in the comments. We'll be happy to discuss. Right now, we're just kind of talking about random things. Blake's a musician. He had a couple events recently in Alabama that he was tasked to perform at. So you play drums and tagelharp at both things, or just one or the other?
One or the other mostly. Like ceremonially, I'll do drums
Hmm.
mostly
Hmm.
for ceremony. Um, One big reason why I took up drums is so I can do ceremonial stuff and drum journeying
Hmm.
and shamanic style drumming. But I fell more in love with drumming as I took Jakob's classes last year. When
And
I
for
took his
everybody,
class,
just real quick, for everybody that doesn't know who he is referring to, Jakob Lee Hunt is a
he
percussionist
learned,
for Heelund. Sorry,
learned, yeah,
Lund. Yeah, Heelund
yeah,
is a percussionist for Heilung, and he does a work,
yeah,
or he has done a workshop called, what is it, Thrimskaper, I think,
yeah. Yeah. He still does that as well.
with the
That's
drum
the other one he's doing,
building
the
and the
Rimskopper.
yeah.
Yeah, it means noise making.
So that's who he's talking about. Sorry to cut you off. I just wanted to
Yeah,
give people
that's
context.
fine. Yeah, and he had one last year, and he was going to do one this year, and we didn't get a chance to.
Yeah,
Um,
bummer.
they're trying to, but it was going to be the same people that came last year. It was supposed to be his now wife. What was her name? Jackie Alberts.
Yes.
Because he recently got married to her, but they were together when he came
Hmm.
over, and then Matthias Northvink
That's what I
as
was
well.
excited about. I mean, I'm excited about the drum thing too, but to have Dr. Matthias Northvig there was a
Oh yeah,
really awesome
it
addition
was
to
really
the whole
awesome to
thing.
have him there. You get a lot out of his classes and stuff. That's the reason why I would like to take more of the stuff. But I'm hoping I may talk with Rue a little bit more um, about when he
I need to get
comes
him on the
next.
show.
When he comes next to try to get him to see if we can have like a. I would like us to have like a DVD of our experience made or something, like some kind of video kind of thing going on, because I would like. I'm in the moment. I can't record it myself.
Mm.
I don't feel like recording it when I'm in the moment, and sometimes I wished I were recorded some of the things he said and some of the rhythms he taught us, so I can go back over and look at it.
Oh, Jakob, you mean the
Yeah,
drum rhythms and stuff? Yeah.
yeah, during
Mm.
his own workshop,
Yeah.
because that was something I would loved to have um, could remember what we did during that whole thing, but sometimes I don't remember all of it because I was just in the moment and stuff, and it was just like then it's over. Yeah,
Mm. Yeah. I guess you're so uh, focused on absorbing what you can right then and there.
yeah,
It's not about thinking so
yeah,
much about what you can reflect on. I mean, I'm sure a lot of it though gets, for lack of a better term, it gets beaten into you. That drum, that proverbial rhythm, the gets
yeah.
beat into your psyche, so to speak. And it's
Oh
like
yeah,
that's why I love the
uh,
drum for that reason, because it does, that
yeah,
rhythm, that connection to
yeah.
spirit through rhythm. Uh,
And then there's but I think also what made me forget majority of it probably is once we did the drone journey, I think it went all out. It kind of goes all out because we had a drum journey afterwards, and so when we that meditation stuff, you're focused on that, and
mhm.
then all of a sudden everything else is just like poof.
Yeah, you start to just let the spirit of things move you, and rather than like the technical bits or the mechanics of it.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
yeah. So,
so
but
yeah.
we did learn a lot of things, and we did play on that time. We did play to a lot. We played to two Halong songs. We had
It,
one. I forget which one we played to. The first one, but the second one we were working on using our hands to play the drum instead of the beaters, and he was teaching us pattern, and then we're playing to Anawana.
oh, nice.
Yeah, so
That's a
we were
nice
playing it
relaxing one.
like.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we were playing it with a tapping motion, like da 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 da, like just using our hands, And
Yep, I can see that.
of course, I didn't have this bad boy up here, or this big one right here. I'd made that. That's the reason why I did not make one with him that year, is because I had that one already paid for
Mm-hmm.
and in the works. So long before we were supposed to do that, so I was like, I couldn't justify doing it with him that year, and I was intending to doing it with him this year and pay for the whole experience. The thing is, I would also get to play in front of him again, like I did last year for that feast.
Right. Yeah. Had he shown up?
See that feast. I was on the dock for being the entertainment the whole time, despite whether who was coming.
Really? So you were the night's entertainment.
Yeah, I'm her go-to. I've officially become her go-to entertainment for her feast. And I get like a meal out of it too, but still,
that's always good, you know.
Yeah,
right.
it was a little unusual though playing the feast this year because it wasn't as packed as the past two feasts I played with them for her. Because we did another Beltane event, and then we did the Thrinskopper event. Alstara is what we did last year, and that was earlier in the year, and so I played both events, and it was more packed than it was this. It was like half the room was only booked for the feast this year.
Mm.
So
I'll take a question here real quick, and then we can come back to that. But Michael Hunt on...
Just don't take one of mine.
Put it back if you take it. You can only borrow it. But Michael Hunt on YouTube, thanks for your comment, says, what's your take on performing rituals in an area of sacred land to gods and spirits that differ from those who commonly practice on it? Do you have like an example, Michael? I mean, I'm thinking like what you're talking about would be like, I don't know, like I could take that a couple of different ways, you know, or are you talking about like a public area where, you know, it's usually like a church potluck and then you got pagans coming in trying to do something? Like I'm not, or, you know, you said area of sacred land to gods and spirits. What is, the land is sacred because it's made sacred by the ritual, you know what I mean? Like sacred space has to be set. But I mean, are you talking about the native spirits or gods of a land or a place that were venerated or worshipped by like a certain culture, or how, you know, I'm trying to understand the context of it. I mean, I'm not necessarily, I think, you know, venerating or performing rituals in an area of sacred land. Maybe he's got some more context to add to it. Let's see here. Native Americans and Norse pantheons. Okay. So are you saying like having Norse or Germanic rituals on Native American lands because the gods of Northern Europe are not native to the lands here? I mean, it's rampant, and it works fine.
Yeah.
I mean, we're doing things in North America and naming things and calling things as they are because of our connection to those lands, whether it be through ancestry or through other means. It's you know, I think if when approached correctly and when approached properly, I mean, obviously, if let's say it's a sacred native site. Let's say it's a sacred site to a certain one of the First Nations people, First Nation peoples. I don't think that people should just arbitrarily go in there and do things without collaborating and first of all getting permission from those First Nations peoples or whatever the you know the native tribe or the native people of that land to get permission to perform said rituals there. Like make sure that it's okay with them first, that they give you that, because if it's sacred to them and it's in their culture, I don't think that it should be
but there's also a ton,
arbitrarily
there's
going
also
there.
like a ton of sacred sites as well that have been abandoned or forgotten. from that since because of course
Well, the tribes moved,
yeah,
or the people lost their place there, or something like that,
yeah
maybe.
they pushed out by our ancestors,
But I think there's a plenty
Um,
of still. I think there's plenty of
yeah,
like existing sacred sites.
yeah,
Like there, a lot
yeah,
of these
just
First Nations people and the tribes across
yeah,
the country
exactly,
are deeply rooted
yeah,
in their tradition, so they know where their sacred
yeah,
sites are. So I think that in
yeah,
those contexts, to have somebody just go arbitrarily in there and not.
yeah,
That's one of the things I have a huge respect for. Like when Heilung
yeah,
came over here, and they were
yeah,
performing in areas that were sacred
yeah,
sites. Like the land
yeah,
was mountain, the wherever they were performing was near or on sacred ground to
oh
those
yeah,
First Nations peoples, and they've done it in across the world too. Like they did it here on as the people called Turtle Island. They
yeah,
did it in, I think, Asia when they were doing like Thailand and the whole
yeah,
APAC region. They were involving the indigenous
yeah, and
beliefs and practices there.
they also did the what's the people there in New Zealand?
Um, the Maori,
Yeah,
maybe.
they
Yeah.
involved them, and they did a full
A
hack
haka.
eye for them,
Yeah, yeah,
haka
yeah.
for them,
Yep,
and with them, and they even did it for them as they came in when they welcomed them in.
yep. I remember at the airport,
Yeah,
they were doing, yeah, yeah. So,
yeah,
I mean, I think, like, in that way, like, or in that context,
yeah.
that's my take on it. I don't know, like, if you have anything to
I
add.
honestly wish they did it here in Huntsville when they came.
Yeah, I mean, I know they were in, like, a city, and it was an amphitheater type,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah,
setting. It was, different than,
yeah,
let's say, like, the
yeah.
Black Hills or
I would. It'd be kind of cool if they brought the First Nations to come in there and help open it and stuff. That would.
there was a part of me that was hoping for something like that,
Yeah.
'cause I saw the videos of other places where they did it, and I'm like, "Man, what a."
Like when they first came like to north to was it one of the Carolinas, was it North or South Carolina when they came through before us?
Yeah, yeah, I think it was North Carolina, the
Yeah,
the
and
the one time they came.
they brought the First Nations in there, and I
Well, they
saw the
did it
video
out
of that.
west too. They did it out west, I think, Oregon or or somewhere out
Yeah,
there, one of their last.
they also did it at Red Rocks, both times at Red Rocks actually.
Yep. I have huge respect for that, and
Yeah,
I think that's right.
yeah,
They're,
yeah,
I'm hoping that when Wardruna plays Fire in the Mountains later this year, I think because
uh,
they're playing in or near sacred land to the Blackfoot people,
oh yeah,
I believe. Um,
yeah,
so they
mm,
that would be cool if they.
yeah,
I know that the event organizers are deeply connected with those uh, communities and stuff, and making sure that what they're doing is that they're getting
yeah,
permission and it's okay and all this.
yeah,
But it would be cool to see like a band like Wardruna have some sort of
oh yeah,
ceremonial thing for them, or they involve them in the
yeah,
ceremony or something. Like, they're not
yeah.
exactly the same type of performers and whatnot as Highland per se,
Yeah,
but
and they have a different approach to the land itself as well.
yeah. But
I mean,
I could see
he
Einar
still
do
has that
something like that.
he still has that animistic approach, but it's a little bit more of a communal thing with him.
Hmm. I could see him wanting to do something like that. He has the presence and
Yeah.
the respect
Oh
of the
yeah.
culture, to
Yeah.
want to do something like that. So hopefully that answered your question, Michael. Good one
Yeah.
though. Good question there.
But as far as like land that's probably being forgotten or something like that, I think doing our own stuff to it, like especially if it's like your own land.
Oh yeah, like if you've
Yeah.
um
Or out in the woods that have not been visited in over years.
well, the
Because
land's
I think,
yeah, it's sacred no matter where you go. I think that's
yeah,
the animist in me though,
yeah,
that's seeing that,
yeah,
spirit exists
mhm,
everywhere, and so to step into
and I
that
think
place
this,
is
yeah,
is sacred space.
and spirit also will take any name you give to it because they have been worshipped in a while. like places where they haven't like that these spirits have not been venerated or recognized. They just I think they appreciate being appreciated again.
Mm. Yeah, they definitely like I was talking I think last week I was talking to Chris Miller. He's got a heathen community up in central Illinois that he is the chieftain for it's called Vegersletta, the Vegersletta tribe, and they're in
Mm-hmm.
like the Midwest, central plains of Illinois there. So,
Mm-hmm.
anyways, he's big into his work is in biology, like plants and trees
Oh yeah,
and things. So he's big into that. But we were talking about how spirit of the land and the spirit in plants and how they communicate. It's they all act in their own agency and they have
yeah,
their own existence in the world, and it's not the same as ours. But being able to connect with them from time to time and have those
oh yeah,
moments when we're kind of in sync with them or
yeah,
quieting our minds and silencing our minds and to listen to what they have to say. I'm sure, like you say, the way that we feel connecting with
yeah.
them and how it kind of
Mm-hmm.
boosts our overall health, our mental health, our physical health.
Oh yeah,
There's a reciprocity, like, yes,
yeah,
we're connecting again, and so it's
yeah.
I've talked about that. We've here in my house we've had plants that looked to be good for dead. We had an
Oh
orchid
yeah,
plant that stopped blooming for a long time, and it looked like just dead. Like there was the only green on it was near the leaves,
mm,
and it was interesting because like the atmosphere of the home was at the time
yeah,
kind of tumultuous, and then once things got put in order and things were happier and there was more joy in existence by us, the
yeah,
humans in the
yeah.
space, plant life responded. When it was
Oh
really
yeah,
interesting to see how it was
mm-hmm.
revived and it started blooming again, and it's been blooming
Yeah,
since. So it's interesting to see the relationship that our behavior can
yeah, yeah,
impart. When we're in a good space or when we're not in a good space, how it can reflect in the plant life. And when you go outside and you put your bare skin on earth and you
yeah.
touch earth, touch grass, all of
Mm-hmm.
those heavy and burdensome things can be kind of offloaded into our mother
Yeah,
yours, right? And then
yeah.
her healing comes back to us
Oh
through those
yeah,
vibrations, through that connectivity. So
exactly.
we definitely have a um, because we are part of nature, because we are nature, we are made of the things that nature is made of. um
Mm,
it is sacred,
yeah,
and
yeah,
claiming space as sacred
yeah,
place or sacred space to work with your divinity, the gods, spirit,
yeah.
whatever. It's about connecting. It's about being
Oh
connecting
yeah.
in the presence
Yeah. And I think that's the reason.
or
I
in the
think that's
present.
also why I feel the way I do right now in this in the slump that I've had over the past couple of weeks to months. Is
Hmm.
I haven't gotten out in nature in forever, for a while,
Yeah, it's time,
and
man.
I'm very bad about that. But when I get back in it, I'm like, it gets clear. Like I can go out just in a little bit of space and
Well, all it
if I go out to the woods and shoot my my bow, I feel that energy as well.
hmm all you need is just to start is, all you need is 10 minutes a day, you know.
Oh yeah,
10 minutes a day to just take your socks and shoes off and just put your feet in the grass.
oh yeah,
Just that 10 minutes a day can really improve things, I've noticed. And then when you do
oh
that
yeah,
and you make a habit and sort of a ritual of that,
yeah,
you then become more inclined to want to increase the time. You're like, instead of sitting, in front of my, and this is not a dig. Don't get me wrong here. Like, instead of sitting in front of my video games for 3 hours, I could be
oh yeah,
outside in the grass for an hour, or
oh
whatever.
yeah,
Like I'm saying, like, do your things that you
yeah.
enjoy. Like, not trying to, dig
I
on
know.
anybody for that. But at the same time, like, if you can make 10 minutes a day, every day, no matter what you're doing, if you can make 10 minutes, you'll find where your other time is being spent, and you'll be like, oh well, I've got 20 minutes there. Actually, I got 30 minutes or whatever. And you'll want to,
Oh yeah.
the more you practice it, the more you live it, it becomes your
Yeah.
lifestyle.
Oh yeah.
So I think
It's
if you
like
haven't been
also
able to get out there,
feeling
that
I do when I it's also the same feeling when I do when I play music as well. It's like
mm,
when I actually start doing it and I keep doing it and I do it, it's like my mood is just lifted.
yeah. Well, that probably has to do with the rhythm too. You know, I mean
Yeah.
it's in cadence with your breathing, cadence with your heartbeat. You know, like just maybe not the
Yeah.
same rhythm, but just that rhythmic motion, and then how music
Mhm.
is a it's a type of medicine, I would say. You know,
Yeah.
because it's a
Well,
universal language. You don't have to be able to
yeah.
speak. You don't have to be able to speak a language to know when what music makes you feel like.
Yeah. It's like, but also it's also energy and vibration too,
Yep. Yep.
and um, because they even they have science has proven this as well that different frequencies
Oh yeah.
affect different areas, and even in the modern Hindu interpretations of chakras and stuff, each frequency correlates with a certain chakra.
Michael Hunt, who says, by the way, not my real name. Okay, I'm I wouldn't knock it if it were. But anyway, it says appreciate the feedback. Just wanted to ensure proper respect, to not overstep others and their lands. Likely just overthinking it. By the way, not my real name. LOL. Yeah, no, I mean Michael or whoever you are. Um, Again, if it's sacred land to the native Indians that are indigenous to the space, uh, I would approach that with the respect and honor
Mm,
that is deserving of it. You know, like don't
yeah,
again just arbitrarily think that it's okay. I mean, like if it's a big space, if there's especially if it's like a burial mounds or any some sort of sacred site that is important to them. Uh,
yeah,
first reach out to them and see, you know,
mm,
what's the accessibility to this, you know, out of respect.
yeah.
I think that's the right approach.
I think the only free thing you could probably do if it's like a sacred like site where the spirits are, you could probably say a small prayer for the spirits there on your own,
Yeah, like, you know, I mean,
acknowledging
again,
them as
it's
spirit. Just acknowledge them as spirits and just say, "Oh, great spirits," you
yeah, I
know,
mean, I'm sure it's something like that. That's, you know, one person
something.
going there and paying respects to
Yeah,
that nature. I mean, I
yeah,
guess I'm thinking more along the lines of
yeah,
I'd like to host an event here and bring, you know, 150 people
yeah.
or something like
Exactly.
that for a ritual in the
Yeah.
year. Like, hold on,
Yeah,
like,
I would never have a ritual on sacred land, but if I go to like a sacred site or something like that, I will always bow and pray to the spirits there. Just like if I was like, say, I went to like Japan and to all these Shinto shrines, I would do, I would do it to the best. I'll pay my respects the best way I can, because those are
sure.
sacred. And when visiting those shrines, yeah, the spirits are there, and you acknowledge them and you learn about them too, because they would, of course, like when you go to a shrine, they will also have pamphlets that tell you what the spirit is and the story behind it and the mythology behind it. And
Hmm.
then, but you still go. I still go there and pay my respects.
Speaking of sacred sites, did you hear about uh or have you ever heard of Hohns, let's see if I can do it right in my German. Hohenseberg. That's probably terrible.
Hmm.
Hohenseberg. It's a sacred holy place of Thor
Huh.
in Germany, of course.
Hmm.
Um but let me see here. I'm reading a thing about it. It was so this was an article written by uh Al-Sadu founder Robert Sass. He wrote a blog
Hmm.
earlier or a few years ago
Hmm.
about the sacred Saxon site um, in Hohensenberg, not Hoisenberg, Hohensy Berg, Burg, Hohensberg. It's my best. I think I can do it right now. I don't know why I'm having a difficulty with the German. pronunciation. But the fact that Cyberg was a Saxon holy place, Honcyberg, maybe that's Honcyberg. But the fact that Cyberg was a Saxon holy place to Thunor is not mentioned in any books that at the time Robert had read about it, nor websites. What is fascinating is that in the Old Saxon Heliand poem, there contains a passage that proves the sacredness of Thunor in Saxon thought. So, without a doubt, Thunor, which is the Saxon name for Thor, he was a big deal to the Saxons.
Yeah.
And it also proves that in the Saxon Heliand, this is kind of what blew my mind, right? The Christian missionaries who were there chose to attempt to replace Thunor with the apostle Saint Peter. So Robert's point is that he says the fact that the Christians felt the first pope of the church, which is Peter, in their canon, right, is and the most important disciple in their gospel was the one to quote unquote hide Thunor, right, to replace Thunor.
Yeah.
So they basically wanted to have their most important person replace the Saxons' most important person in their pantheon, in their religious views. Their saint or their god or their deity, right? The Christian missionaries wanted to pick their most important person or their most important figure to replace the Saxon heathens' most important figure. And this was that again. This is Honcyberg, I guess is how we're going to say it. That Honcyberg. So yeah, I don't know if you'd ever heard of that place, but
yeah, I've never heard of it.
Yep, it was a sacred site dedicated to Thor. We know, of course, Donar's Oak, and I think it's Lower Saxony, maybe. Where's Donar's Oak? Donar's Oak. The site of where Donar's Oak used to be.
Yeah.
Unclear locations around what is now the region of Hesse, Germany. Donaureiche is the historical landmark in North. Let's see. Neckar, Germany. I don't know if that's. I guess that's the north. Maybe. But of course, those holy sites, those sacred sites, they were either the trees were torn down or the monuments, like the Irminsul, like the site of the Irminsul, like those trees were cut down or they were burned, and then what was replaced were churches. They would build a church on that site. It was like a kind of a finger to the Saxons. So don't do that. Don't go into sacred sites and try to wipe things out and put your own shit up. Don't do that.
Which makes me think: are there churches on sacred sites here in the States?
Dude, are you kidding me? I'm sure there are. There has to be.
Because if they were doing the same, if we had the same mindset as, if the Christians then that settled here had the same mindset,
Yeah, I mean, look, like the Native Americans are a conquered people, and they were conquered by Europeans. And of course, they were fighting themselves. Like, that's not a secret. It's tribes always there was always inner fighting, even with the Germanic people. It's one of the reasons why a confederation didn't work. It's one of the big reasons why the Germanic tribes couldn't unify and form a coalition, a confederacy, to fight against Charlemagne and to actually retain their traditions and keep themselves heathen. Is because they were always fighting themselves. So same thing happened over here, obviously, but then Europeans came over and it was, genocide left and right, taken over. And then I'm sure that there's got to be holy sites or sacred places, sacred ground to Native American Indians that have been replaced with,
a church.
a church or something. I mean, I'm sure of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't say
Probably all
for
these
for
probably these
exactly.
churches that are in the backwoods. Probably I think all these like old churches.
Well, I mean, I just, it's wild. You look around, and I live a stone's throw away, or from
Yeah,
a part of the Trail of Tears. Like there's a sign where
yeah,
that says this is where the Trail of Tears go through. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
there's highways, and there's
Yeah. When I
there's
lived in
literally a
Pulaski, there was
church.
one.
Huh?
I lived in Pulaski. There was a few Trail of Tears roads that went there as well.
So, you
Um,
just figure where that had gone
yeah,
through, and then you look and
yeah,
see what there is now. I mean, there's a huge World Outreach Church, or not
yeah,
World Outreach, but there's a huge uh, mega church that's like down the road from us as well. I'm like, well, if the Trail of Tears came through here, then they got to
yeah,
have, even if there's not a church there. I mean, there's a
yeah,
highway, there's something there. So um, it's
yeah,
it's almost like when you see the state of a place, and you go, why is it so bad there? And then you start doing research on the land where everything
yeah,
is now, what it used to be, and you're like, oh, no
yeah.
wonder things are fucked. It's because this is all Indian burial ground. You it's no wonder everything's a shit show. Like you just built everything over their sacred burial mounds.
Oh yeah, it's just like here in Huntsville. I think it's the reason why there a lot of the buildings that were up there originally up there, the older buildings was gone to ruin probably, but they still have some like people living up there. It's on Montesano Mountain right there. Is got a lot of history behind that as well. There's a lot of
do
like
you know
old.
anything about the history there, or is it all?
Well, it used to be Huntsville used to be considered called Montesano. Like the from the mountain down to that to where it's now where west eastern Huntsville is
Mhm.
used to be called Montesano.
Montesano?
Montesano.
Montesano.
Yeah, and there used to be
What does that
there was
mean?
also there's
My
like a
Spanish is a bit rusty.
it's a mount it's like a mountain it's like a
Well, I know
oh so actually it's a maze.
Monte is a
Yeah,
mountain, yeah. Like Monte Cristo, Christ Mountain,
yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Monte
I'll have to
Cristo.
look that up, see what it means.
Yeah, I'm gonna see here because now you got me going. Now I'm going down. Now I'm going down the Saint. How is it? Montesano State Park.
Montesano.
Okay.
Yeah,
So what
I'm trying to figure
Montesano?
out Montesano Mountain, which is technically is a mesa technically because it's flat. Is
Yep.
Spanish for Mountain of Health.
Oh,
Okay, so it's a Spanish name.
Montesano, maybe. I don't know.
It was
I might
given
have.
by Dr. Thomas Fern. But I was reading something where it was like its own town or something up there at one point, and
Yeah.
it's like mostly there's ruins of the old hotel there, and there's ruins of the if you go on some of the trails, there's some ruins of somebody's house.
Okay.
You know,
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah. So it was this old.
yeah.
Is this
In the
see? There was a
state park
hotel
of it,
there.
yeah. In the state park of it, yeah, it's like you'll find a lot of old ruins, but then there's like newer buildings and housing up there as well.
Huh.
But on some of the sites, and then it's got a lot of weird history. There's like also some old remnants of railroad tracks.
Yeah, I was looking there. There's a railroad. So I guess the reason it was called the Mountain of Health was because
Yeah,
Thomas Fern, with his two brothers, founded a
yeah.
small colony on the mountain during an epidemic of yellow fever, malaria, and cholera.
Oh, yeah,
So apparently everybody was sick as dogs, and then they settled a
yeah,
community on this mountain where they could keep people
yeah,
healthy.
yeah.
That's fascinating.
And I think it later the I mean it was it. I was reading something. I can't remember if I'm correct on this, but I was reading something in a brochure or booklet from them It showed a map of what the whole area was like, and it went down even into eastern Huntsville for a while, and then, of course, Huntsville was named and swallowed everything else and annexed everything.
Yeah.
So
more gentrification or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's cool. Like I live where I live. When you came up, because you've been to Murfreesboro, you came up for the Shadowmoot last year. Which, by the way, I don't want to go off the rails too much, but since we mentioned that, did you hear that the Hearth is they are doing Shadowmoot this year, and it is a camping event? Did you hear about that?
I saw something about that. I think it's up in Kentucky.
Yeah, Hopkinsville, which is just not that far over this Tennessee state line. So if you're coming up this far halfway, then you're like another 2.5 maybe hour or so hours to Hopkinsville from here. So but they are doing it, and it is a thing. So but yeah, when you came up here,
it sounds like it's like near the gorge, the Red River Gorge.
It might be. I don't know,
because that gorge is huge. It's Red River Gorge is huge in Kentucky. It's like it's got a lot of hiking trails there.
Yeah, it's in Christian County.
There's also a trail. There's also a big hiking trail that goes east to west.
So it's west. It's southwestern Kentucky. Like it's not as far west as say Indiana or wherever, but it's you go up like towards Clarksville, and then go up to like Fort Campbell, and it's up in that area, or a little bit west of there. So, but yeah. Anyway,
the trail I'm thinking about is like like southern East Tennessee up through northern East Kentucky.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But I forgot
opposite side.
Yeah. But I think the gorge is like dead center.
Yeah. Yep, 26 miles.
I've only been to Kentucky about briefly when I was younger for a friend's graduation.
So anyway, when you came up here, like Murfreesboro, like where I live, and I'm right by the Stones River, and a huge amount of Civil War history that happened here. So you talk about the land and the things that happened, and memories of whatnot. I live right on the Stones River, and you realize like this was such a crucial part of the war. People battles were fought and won on the shores of this river. And then you live right by it, and it's kind of like it's a big thing, like for me at least. It's to be around that kind of history. And
there's battlefields here there's battlefields here in the county that I live as well. The college here has history too. It used to be an all women's college back before the Civil War.
Oh yeah,
and in exchange for letting them use it as a hospital place for the soldiers, for the Union soldiers, they spared it from being burnt. And the other condition they slept with the women.
Yeah, I was say what else is good for them there? Yeah, well.
Yeah, right. And the story is that from being a all women's college to a unisex college.
Oh,
like
yeah.
community style college kind of thing.
Co-ed, they call it, I think.
Yeah, because the Founders Hall, the main building, Founders Hall, it predates the Civil War, and you could tell it predates because of the those massive column work and stuff.
Interesting.
And that's where they host. That's where they host our annual Fielders Convention each year. Right there, they do the competitions right there on the step of Founders Hall.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been in it several times. I used to compete on top of that.
Compete what?
I used to compete in the harmonica.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't know you played a harmonica, too.
Oh, yeah.
Does the beard get in the way?
Nowadays it does. I didn't have a beard at the back then, or much of a beard. I had a goatee at the time.
Yeah, I can imagine the hairs get in the way of the reeds getting
Oh
in
yeah, kind
away.
of. Yeah, it was like I played that. I still can play it a little bit, but I don't play it as much as I used to. But I used to get at least um at least in the top 5.
I'm assuming that's a pretty good. I'm assuming that there's
Yeah.
plenty of harmonicist in the area
Yeah.
of where you're from. I would just that'd just be a
Well,
wild guess.
they're from all over they're all over the country. They come
Oh, it was
in
like a
from
big
all.
thing, like a big competition, like a.
Yeah, like the fiddle competition brings people from all over the country.
Oh, okay, wow. I thought it was like just a
Like,
local thing or
yeah.
something that you were into.
Now we
I didn't
actually,
know.
my one of our friends, my friends of the family, who's been playing with us for a long time. He's from Michigan, and he also
Michigan.
has he also has a house in Florida that he goes to like during the winter, I guess.
Well, yeah,
He might,
if you're gonna winter over in Michigan, then I would go south too.
yeah, yeah. But he plays a lot. Of course, he's very Christian religious, and plays a lot of religious stuff, like bluegrass gospel stuff. But
Oh man.
when he
Yeah.
sing or country gospel, you know, but I mean,
If that's
some of that stuff I do like the sound of, but I don't like the
do you?
message behind.
I mean, you could probably, I guess, like
Yeah,
if you like the sound of it. But I mean,
yeah,
and I'm sorry if this is a dig, but it's just like
yeah.
they all sound like they're holding their nose, and it's like
Yeah, it's
those.
that high pitched sound. I can sing
Yeah,
like that too, like for like bluegrass stuff. But the bluegrass gospel is a little different animal sometimes. It has like more of a the way he sings. He has that Hank Senior whine
yeah, yeah,
to
yeah,
his
yeah,
voice.
yeah.
And when he sings, and he does a lot of stuff, which is a lot of that's done like in the key of E.
For me, it's done in the key of no, because I'm not about it. I don't get down with it. My wife actually likes some of the
Yeah,
older country, like the Southern
yeah,
gospel type stuff,
yeah.
and the
But
reason she likes it so
I
much is
do
because it's
like bluegrass.
nostalgic.
Yeah, but I do like bluegrass music still
Yeah,
because if you talk
plus,
about like a lot of and I do like all the Appalachian style folk, which has
yeah,
roots, which has
fiddle.
roots. Yeah, which has root the old fiddle tunes, old time music, as my instructor calls it. Um, a lot of this has roots in all over the place. It has roots in Irish music, Scottish music,
Yeah,
Canadian music, French, all kinds of stuff. But bluegrass has roots in like jazz and um, like ragtime, all the
yeah.
way into like blues, to that Appalachian folk,
Yeah, well, you got to think
Irish
like
folk.
when the lands of Appalachia that were settled mostly
Yeah,
by Scottish and
yeah,
English and the
yeah,
Irish, right? So the Celtic
yeah,
sounds. And if you go like, have you ever seen this? There's like a video not tutorial, but there's like a video of this lady
uh,
explaining the Southern drawl, the Southern accent,
yeah,
um, how different it is depending on where you go. Like if you go to the deep South, like in Mississippi, it's going to be a totally different accent down there. Whereas if you go over there to Georgia, or and she goes through this
yeah,
whole like thing, and then she gets up into Appalachia, and there's a bit of a sing song voice to it, and it traces
yeah,
back to like old European
yeah,
when their accents were what they were and they migrated over here and they
yeah,
settled and how the dialects and the
yeah,
accents and stuff evolve.
yeah,
It's all from that part of the world. So the music
yeah.
definitely had a part in influencing early
Well,
American folk
well,
music.
here's
It
an
was
interesting fact.
rooted back there.
Have you ever seen this fact that's floating around? The Appalachians Mountains used to be this part of the same region as the Scottish Highlands and the hills of Ireland.
Well, yeah, because Well, Appalachia is as old as it's the oldest.
Yeah,
It's part of the oldest mountain range because
yeah,
when everything was together and the great continents like
Pangea.
shifted
Yeah,
and everything, the Pangea, Africa, there's part
yeah.
of that Appalachian mountain range is
In
originated there.
Africa,
Yeah,
and part of it's also in Norway.
Yeah. So like there's
Yeah,
that huge shift of everything that happened, and
yeah,
that's where it all originated, which is when
yeah.
I go every year,
That's
when I
the
go
reason
to
why
those
it
Blue
was.
Ridge Mountains,
Yeah,
it's such a reconnection to the
yeah,
oldest, spirit
yeah,
of the land of the world.
yeah. Like because I guess they connected with it. That's the reason why they connected with it, because it had that spirit of their old homeland. It looked like. I mean, it does look like it.
There's a
I mean,
lot of places.
it looks like the Highlands without the coast.
Yeah, this the you go through the Grayson Highlands,
Yeah,
in northwestern North Carolina, starting
uh-huh.
getting into the Blue Ridge Mountains, but the Grayson Highlands, you would,
Yeah,
man, you coming down from Virginia into that area, you'd swear you're
yeah.
in like Europe because it's all rolling hills and farmlands, and
Oh
it's
yeah.
very reminiscent, and all the
Mhm.
evergreen trees and stuff that are prevalent
Yeah,
in the northern Europe.
yeah,
They thrive there in those
yeah,
elevations, so it does. It's very reminiscent, I think, of their
yeah,
homeland. So yeah,
yeah.
all that culture
But
came
that's
over
also,
with them.
but it's also. I mean, he settled down even down through here because we're still part of Appalachia here. The Appalachian Plateau itself extends all the way down to where I live.
Hmm.
Is It's hilly where in my town, even in Huntsville, you can tell it's hilly.
Hmm.
Um, because once you get east of Huntsville, you're getting into the southern Smoky there,
Yes.
and then
Yeah.
you
People don't
have Lookout.
realize.
Yeah, this Lookout Mountain goes into goes from Tennessee into Georgia into North Alabama
Yep.
all at once, and then it goes all the way down to Birmingham.
Yep.
Like they were thinking about extending the Appalachian Trail from Mount Springer instead of it going down Mount Springer. They were thinking about taking it because the Peyote Trail that goes through Alabama up through Georgia, it connects into that. It's a connector into the Appalachian Trail up there,
Oh wow.
and it goes all the way down to the Talladega National Forest, which is where Mount Cheaha is, which is our highest point.
It does.
And
It goes pretty far south, and it goes
yeah,
quite far north too.
oh yeah,
Um, I forget where.
all the way up into Canada.
Yeah, yeah. Then you got the Adirondacks too that go further east a little bit.
Yeah,
But yeah,
I
uh,
think they're part of that the same range.
you might be
They
right.
kind of because I think they were part of the originally part when they were formed. They were part of the same range, but again they were probably as tall as the Rockies are now, but they wrote it down.
Appalachian
But
Mountains. Let's see here. Mount Mitchell is the highest point. I've been there.
yeah,
I forget its native name, but
Mount Mitchell.
yep, Mount Mitchell is the highest point of the Appalachian Mountain Range,
Hmm.
which is in Yancey County, North Carolina, and I forget its what is its yeah, Mount Mitchell is the highest peak of the Appalachian
Hmm.
Mountains and the highest peak of
Huh.
mainland North America east of the Mississippi.
Huh. See, I thought it was Mount Katahdin and up in Maine.
Nope. They would like to think so. But
I
yeah,
know
the
that's
Appalachian Range runs from the islands of Newfoundland in Canada
yeah.
to central Alabama. So that's Birmingham.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Mount
Exactly.
Mitchell, what is its? I want to know its native name. Mount Mitchell, treaty of the Cherokee people. Yeah, the Cherokee people who long occupied the area as part of their homeland called the mountain Atakula.
Ah. That
I
sounds like
think
cooler than that.
I think
That sounds like
yeah.
cooler than Mitchell.
Well, because you want to know why it's called Mount Mitchell?
Huh.
It's because
Yeah.
the dude, um, he fell and he died on the mountain, so they
Oh
named it
yeah.
after him. Yeah, Elisha
Oh yeah.
Mitchell. He was a professor of the University of North Carolina.
Oh
He
yeah.
had first explored the Black Mountain Ranges in Black Mountain region in 1835. He
Oh yeah.
determined that the height of the range exceeded by several hundred feet that of Mount
Mhm.
Washington in New Hampshire, which is I think what you were
Yeah.
maybe thinking of, or
Yeah.
close. But then Elisha Mitchell, uh, the latter had been commonly thought of at the time to be the highest point. So Mount
Mhm.
Washington used to be thought of as the highest point. Elisha
Oh.
Mitchell determined that Arcola was taller,
Mm.
and then he died near Mitchell Falls in
Yeah.
1857
Hmm. Hmm.
because he was going back to verify his measurements. He was going back to make sure that what he said was true.
Yeah.
But Mitchell Falls, he fell off of it and died, and so they then named they named the thing after him. They named the mountain after him.
So he fell off the falls.
So guys, if yeah, he fall off. So the moral of
Followed
the
up the
story,
falls.
moral of the story is if you want a place named after you, just die some sort of way there. It doesn't even have to be heroic. Just trip and bust your ass and tumble down the mountain. And Blake, you could have a mountain called Mount Russell or Mount Blake or something for all you know, right? Just do something cool and die there, and they'll name it after
The
you.
thing is, I have a whole town now named after my last name, Russellville.
That's right, you do.
Because
And
my original name, my family name, my adopted family on my dad's side, originally started out in South Central Alabama, close to around near Auburn area, called Laverne, Alabama, and they then my grandmother and my grandfather on his side of the family, his mother and father moved to Georgia after his service in the army, because he was a truck driver.
nice.
So, but there's also a lot of Russells up in Pulaski too. that I've seen a lot of grave sites at the main cemetery there, which that
Yeah.
cemetery also has a plate. In one of the cemeteries, there's a marker. There's like 4 markers. They're marked by a stack of cannonballs, Civil War
Yep.
cannonballs.
We've got a lot of those types of monuments around here too, where they
yeah.
they stack. You know, it's like a
Whole
pyramid
cannonballs.
sometimes. Yeah, it's like a whole
Yeah,
thing.
like a stack of 4.
And you know what?
Like
I don't know if you've ever seen it. People come, you know what they do? They try to bust them apart so they can take them. Ain't that some shit?
yeah,
Vandalizing,
yeah.
freaking assholes.
But there was a lot of Russells. It was with the spelling of my name. But see, that's the thing is, my last name is actually Scottish,
Yep.
and my adopted mother's maiden name is Craig, which is Scotch Irish. Has Scottish and Irish lineage
Mm.
into it. And,
Craig. Yeah.
Yeah.
Old Elijah Craig. I knew that guy once. No,
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I don't. I just drank the
Yeah.
whiskey or the bourbon or whatever it was. But
Oh yeah. But yeah, there's a lot of Craig. A lot of the Craigs in Athens that my grandfather knew or knows or was related to. Which I found out that one of the people that there's a machine shop that was behind my grandfather's lumber yard across the tracks that
Mhm.
was owned was the nephew was the guy I was friends with in high school, and it turns out his uncle was related to my grandfather, and so I guess that made him related somehow down the line.
You know what I found out, dude, when I moved to the South almost 20 years ago? Actually, this year,
Yeah.
when I moved to Tennessee from New York, I moved down here. I started realizing just how how much related everybody is.
Yeah,
Because like I'd be with somebody, right? I don't know anybody from
yeah,
Adam, and then I'm with
yeah,
this person, and they see somebody in the store or at a freaking drive-through in a restaurant, and they're stopping
yeah.
and they're talking. I'm like, how do you know them? Oh, that's my cousin so and so. That's my uncle. Blah blah blah. And I'm like, how are you? Like,
Well, small
it's like
towns when they
everywhere.
start. Athens started out as a small town, so it
Yeah,
had little people, and then
little people
it
meaning like a
grows.
low population, not meaning like small
Low
in
population.
stature,
Yeah,
right? Yeah,
low
like not
population
not
of
not a
people.
city of Oompa Loompas or dwarfs or whatever the
Yeah.
right term is. No.
So it started out with everybody knowing, either knowing everybody or being related to everybody in some way. Not in
Yeah.
like an inbreeding kind of way, but it's like,
Yeah, we got some class. We're not Arkansas. Give us a break here. Like, no.
yeah, it's like the. I think somehow inbreeding breaks down after like four cousins twice removed, or something.
Somehow it does, I think.
Yeah, or something like that. Because some people did marry their third or fourth cousins. You
Yeah,
know, I've heard
oh,
stories where people in my family have done that, like like the earlier generation before my
yeah.
grandmother's generation would do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I guess when you
Because
live in a small town, like, what else are you gonna do? But
yeah, and
I
then
not that. I wouldn't
yeah,
resort to
it was
that.
before Athens became like this. It's like we become the dumping grounds for housing for people who commute to Huntsville. Basically,
What's the
that's what
biggest
we've
thing you guys
become
have
now.
going on in Huntsville anyway? Like, we were there and I'm like, it's a city, right? Definitely, but it ain't like,
Yeah.
like what's the biggest form of industry, or what's the biggest thing going on in Huntsville these days? Is there a plant or
Um.
manufacturing
Um.
facility or?
Aerospace. Aerospace.
Oh, that's right, because you used to have the rocket that they
We still do rockets there. We're still NASA has a headquarters at Marshall Space
yeah,
Flight Center.
that's right, yeah,
They still do all stuff. They even made some of the bits of the ISS. They've
right.
done.
Well,
Yeah,
that used to be like the landmark out there on the interstate. Was it 65? They used to have that
rocket. Yeah,
rocket
they tore that one
launch.
down. They tore that one down. They think about putting a different one up there, but it was becoming so aged because it was an actual rocket. It was a Saturn. It was a Saturn 1B rocket, and they had Saturn 1A. They used to have the biggest rocket at the Space Rocket Center was the Saturn 1B A, or a Saturn 1A, and they had a Saturn 1B at the interstate
Yeah, yeah,
there when you come in,
yeah. It was
and
a big
that's
deal when
like
they took that out.
that's up in Ardmore. It's like close to that's like about 15 minutes from where I live,
Hmm.
and they removed it because it was getting so aged that they wanted to take it down and stuff. So they did,
We could have
but they
refurbished it, maybe. I don't know.
I think I think the upkeep would have been a lot more, I guess, but I think they wanted to put like something more different, like a more modern rocket there.
Put put one of Elon Musk's SpaceX pods or
Well, they
something
put
out there.
or one of the newer ones that NASA came out with, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah. Keep it true to form.
because we're still involved with that here and over there. They're still doing stuff with that, but
Oh, okay, very cool.
but it's also not just that. It's also become it's basically the Silicon Valley of the South. There's a
I
lot
knew
of
you were gonna. I knew you were gonna say that.
yeah.
I knew you were gonna say that. I'm like, well, I'm gonna ask Blake what's going on. He's gonna be like, we're the Silicon Valley of the South.
Yeah, I know. Basically, that's what it is because we have a lot of like programming companies there. We have
Yeah.
Raytheon is over there. Intergraph is over there. I have a friend who works. She works for them,
Mm.
but she works as a home base operator programmer now for them. And then we have let's see what else would we have? It's like all sorts of things going on. I remember we also had Curse Gaming over there at one point.
Oh, okay.
If you remember Curse Gaming, they used
I
to do
do.
all the add-ons for World of Warcraft.
Yeah, the WoW people are gonna go ape shit over that now. Oh wow,
Yeah,
really? I'm gonna come to Huntsville
yeah, that's where Kurt. I
for
mean,
the
Kurt's.
horde.
Yeah, we had that one there. I don't remember where it's at. We also now have the MTMs there now. Mazda Toyota Motors. We also have another Toyota plant there as well,
Okay.
and
So you
there's a
guys got
lot of
stuff
things.
going on.
Yeah, and we're becoming big on the in entertainment. Our tourist entertainment industry is now getting up there now. We're getting a lot of good bands coming in and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, shit. You had Hylung come down there. I know there's
Yeah,
other. I've seen some really good
yeah.
bands at.
We have Alice Cooper comes at least every year,
Yeah,
at least once a
yeah,
year.
yeah. They're in
Um,
Nashville too. It's like a good spot for the
yeah,
for the tour circuit to hit
yeah,
either Huntsville
yeah,
or Nashville or
yeah.
Louisville, somewhere in that line.
Oh yeah, we have. But it's
All the Villes, just hitting all
yeah,
the Villes up.
yeah.
We
It's
fancy.
becoming. I mean, the only thing is, I wish they would get more like smaller, like known bands and stuff because a lot of them are coming into Birmingham. Like, a lot of the good ones are coming into Birmingham this year.
Yeah,
Like Amon Marth with Pantera is coming
I
in the
know.
Birmingham,
I
and I'm
know.
like, why didn't Huntsville pick that one up? And then
I
and
think it's a
then
lot to do with just their management and
yeah,
seeing, how they're going to hit
yeah,
the big cities that are going
yeah.
to bring them in, a good
Yeah.
crowd. What's up, Bernard Davis there on Facebook says hello,
And
hail to
sadly,
you,
I'm
sir.
not going to be able to go to the Monomarth concert though because those tickets are a little pricey because of Pantera.
Dude, yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
but the one I'm going to probably go see too is going to be down there in October is Ailstorm,
oh, dude, that'll be fun.
like the Fire and Ailstorm. Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
they're I looked at the tickets. They were like $46 for general admission.
oh, that ain't bad.
And I'm like,
That's doable.
that that is not bad. Like
Yeah.
compared to ticket prices now, I'm like, I may actually swing that if I can get somebody to go with me. I don't like going alone.
My wife's the same way. Yeah, she doesn't like going
So
to
it's
shows by
traveling
herself.
alone is basically like I wouldn't mind going to shows by myself if it was like somewhere closer to home, like say like Huntsville.
Hmm.
But going like somewhere like to Birmingham or traveling all the way to Atlanta by myself or to Nashville by myself for just a concert,
It's a bit of a
it
haul.
seems like it's kind of a risky thing.
Yeah, I definitely get you, and it's always nice to have, companions to go along with. Speaking of
Hmm.
like shows and stuff, I had a pretty when I say I had something weird happen to me today, I mean
Hmm.
in not just the sense like when I say weird, I mean
Yeah.
beyond just odd. I mean like
Yeah.
WYRD weird, okay?
Yeah.
Um 7 years ago today, I
Hmm.
had been asked to go. I had been asked to join a local metal band on stage
Yeah.
to kind of like do some vocals with them at a show that they were performing at,
Yeah.
and it was a show in Nashville. And my
Hmm.
wife and I both went, and I had so 7 years ago, I had probably recently launched Midgard Musings, um,
Yeah.
it was right around that time, soon thereafter, because I started Midgard Musings in April, and so
Yeah.
um, when I went, so I got asked by this band. Um, Barnard says it's all about the experience, but experience those are better shared. Yeah, for sure. But when I went to this concert, the vocalist of the metal band was also at the time into the Norse pagan stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They had a really nice Mjolnir that almost had that kind of like the Skern Mjolnir that been on our
Yeah.
revealed in, I think it's Skern or Skan uh, Mjolnir shape.
Skane?
Skane,
You mean
Skane,
Skane?
Skarn, Skern. Yeah, the Skane Mjolnir
Yeah.
that in Sweden that they dug up like 1,200 years
Like
ago,
like the
whatever it
one
was.
like this one here.
Yes, exactly right. Yeah. So
Yeah,
their
that's,
Mjolnir was that they wore was very, very much styled like that, really
yeah.
substantial. Um, and
I had one. I had one like that when my second Mjolnir was that. I ended up gifting that to a friend of mine like last year. Um,
so they they knew I was, practicing, and they've since had, their whole life had changed.
mhm.
Ended a marriage, moved out of state. They're going out to the West Coast to do this huge, like 2,500-mile long hike up the Pacific Coast or something soon. And anyway, they had been out of state for a while. They'd been living in like
Yeah,
Illinois or somewhere. And so they came, they had been back, and I got a random message from them on Facebook today saying, "Hey,
yeah,
I'm in town for the next, like, I'm in town today. I'm getting rid of a lot of stuff that I don't need anymore. And I had a couple of things that I wanted to give you if you're wanting them, one of which is my old Mjolnir, because they haven't pursued the path any further, and so I
yeah,
said, wow, if you're wanting to part with such a thing, I'm honored that you'd want to pass it to me,
mhm.
because there's so much history. When you wear
Yeah,
something on your body, especially something of a
yeah,
religious artifact or a religious symbol,
yeah,
like that is very much tied to the person.
mhm.
And then when they want to part with it, the thinking of, like, I understand, like, there's a lot of different reasons why they might not want to, they don't associate with it anymore. It's not something that they typically maybe they don't technically believe in or pursue.
Yeah,
So they want
yeah,
to depart with it, but they don't want to depart with it and just toss it. They want to
yeah,
pass it to some, so they still have a sense of its meaning, its importance, and for them to
yeah,
come out and reach to me and say, "Hey, would you like to take this?" It was almost like a passing of an artifact,
yeah,
saying, I don't want to get rid of it, but I want it to be taken care of and
yeah,
appreciated by
yeah,
somebody." And what was interesting again is that Mjolnir pendant was worn
yeah,
by that singer. That singer, they reached out to me today and
yeah,
delivered it to me in hand
yeah,
7 years to the day ago when they
yeah.
wore it, and I saw them last. One of the last times I saw them was on that
Oh
stage,
wow. Yeah,
and I got that necklace that they wore 7 years
yeah,
ago, and it's been all over the country, different places, you
yeah.
know, and they still had it, and it came to me, and I
Oh
go,
yeah,
"How weird," meaning, like,
yeah,
WYRD, how weird
yeah,
is that?
yeah. It's kind of like how well the reason why I gifted mine to him is he was in a bad place because his stepdad was on his deathbed when he was here, so he passed away. His mom then followed from cancer and stuff, but I gifted to him not because he was following the path, but as a sign of our friendship more often. And plus, we were going to we went to the Tennessee Ren Fair that year as last year as well,
Mhm.
and I gifted it to him to so he could look the part, as well. And stuff like it's like you know what, just keep this thing and just take it back with you to Wales with you and as a symbol of our friendship kind of thing.
Oh, so he's from Wales?
He's from here, but
Oh, I
he
thought you
he
said
he
Wales.
moved to okay, he married a woman from Manchesterton or Manchestershire or
And they
Manchestershire, yeah, England. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, England. And
We'll say English.
they moved there he moved over there with her after they married,
Gotcha.
and then he moved from they both moved from there to somewhere in Wales. I can't remember exactly where, but they live near the coast.
Okay.
Um, so they live like down near a base, kind of like it's kind of like a base, kind of like where it's like the Wales version of our Blue Angels.
Okay, so like their Air Force or their
Their training base. It's kind of like
Mhm.
because where our the Blue Angels here train is down in Pensacola, Florida. So it's kind of like their version of Pensacola, their
Yeah,
Pensacola training base for their
I
version
got
of the
you.
Blue Angels.
Mhm.
It's the Red something, but
The Red Barons? I
no,
don't know. That's Snoopy. Never mind.
yeah, it's I forgot the name of their group is called, but they kind of do the stunts and the little formation stunts and everything like that. But they moved there, and he came back over. He came back over here to take care of his mom. Well, and or take care of his stepfather while his mom went to chemo treatments. But I'm
So
kind of
anyway,
glad.
he got your Mjolnir and he brought it back to Wales when he, I
Yeah,
guess, yeah,
yeah, as a sign of our friendship,
that's cool, man.
and
Does he still
and
have it?
that's huh.
Does he still have it?
I'm assuming he does. I haven't communicated to him since then, but we do communicate every now and then, but we don't communicate as often
Mm.
as we should. But I'm assuming he did keep it. Yeah, it's only been about a year since he had it, since he left, and
Huh.
but I gave it to him as a to keep to at least put my own look into him. You know,
Yeah,
not to convert him or anything. It was not to do that. I was just saying, here, just keep this as a it's a symbol of our
token of
friendship.
our
Kind of thing.
friendship. Sure,
Yeah,
sure. Yeah,
it's you don't believe in this stuff like I do. It's something. It's a part of me. It's something meaningful to me. I've
yeah.
worn it for so many years. I had retired it as my main Mjolnir for this one that I wear now, this little small one, because I went the humble route. You know, but
Didn't need that big old gaudy, like, was it Flavor Flav with the huge clock,
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
thing?
it had the big wolf's head chain, King's wolf
Oh,
head
the King's
chain.
chains. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's a
it
big
was the one I got from
popular.
Grimfrost and stuff,
Yeah.
and so that was and that's so I retired that as my main Mjolnir, and then I have that other one I got from Zeb that I still use for a ritual.
Hmm. He makes some good pieces, man. Everybody that we still alive here? Yep, there he is. Um,
Yeah, you froze.
sorry, yeah, you did too. And I was like, oh, did we lose him? Did I lose me? Anyway, we're back. But
Okay.
Zeb, Kroom, Skogamore, uh,
Yeah,
good quality stuff. Y'all check him out
yeah.
for sure.
We need to somehow get him down here to the North Alabama side because to
Man,
perform and stuff.
you want to know something funny?
Huh?
That man, I love that man. I've been friends with him for longer than I've been friends with uh, Bright Spirit, JM. You know him, JM,
Yeah,
Velveteer, right?
yeah,
I've been friends with Zeb longer than I've been friends with JM at Velveteer.
yeah,
It's because of me that those two guys know each other, and that
yeah,
I introduced them. But
yeah.
and Zeb comes over to Tennessee. I wouldn't say often, but he has his tattoo artist is out of Hendersonville,
Mhm.
and his tattoo artist and his wife are they just relocated to a new tattoo shop. She's going through cancer treatments. It's a whole big thing. So he comes back and forth, and I'm like, dude, you're in
Oh,
Hendersonville. I'm an hour from you. Normally
yeah,
we're like 6 hours apart, and then when you come out here, and then I'll find out like after the fact. I'll find out after the fact that he was here, and I'm like, you couldn't tell me, man. Like you couldn't let me know. I'm like, he's like, well, I was in and out. I'm like, yeah, no shit. Like, hang out a while, like stay in there. Don't you realize, for it to be enjoyable, you got to stay in there for a little while. You can't just in and out, bam, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Like, come, holler at your boy. Let me know you're in town so
yeah,
I can.
yeah,
But he does. He comes over
yeah,
here, not a
yeah,
lot, but it's frequently
yeah,
enough where I've given him some shit. And so
yeah,
Zeb, brother, if you watch this
yeah,
now, don't see it now, but if you see this later, next time
yeah,
you come to Tennessee, you better let me know and make sure that
yeah.
we see each other because
And we
I'm not
need to
gonna
get
take
you
no for an
to
answer.
some of the,
Say that again.
like bring him to some of our little gatherings and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He stays
Like,
busy. I know, like with the events that go on out in North Carolina, the
oh
Viking
yeah,
Experience, Norse Forge
yeah,
gathering, all those things. Like he performs at
oh yeah,
those. Plus, he also vends, so all of his craft work and
yeah.
things come that he puts together with him and his girl. Like they sell stuff. Plus, he performs. So he's busy in like festival
Oh
seasons like
yeah,
crazy.
I know.
Plus whatever his regular job. But yeah, we do. We got to get him to take Skogamore on the road, do a little mini
Yeah,
tour or something.
yeah.
With you, get up there and do some stuff with him on stage?
Yeah, we put together some kind of show or something at the meadery here, kind of.
Yeah. I tell you what, though, if you've never, like, I don't think there's a lot of video footage of his live production. There's some
Yeah,
clips, there's some things that I know I've put out there. I don't know who else has done it,
yeah,
but he has a whole he has a whole like stage
yeah,
production. He's got this big
yeah.
mask with deer antlers and stuff that he comes out
Oh
to,
yeah.
and it's
I'm still
you
working on
know,
my stage presence and stuff. It's like I still just use my tunic and stuff right now, but I do eventually want to come out create some kind of mask or some kind of mysterious thing going on. But I'm just
mm.
toying with things right now.
I like the simplicity, and I don't mean that in like a bad way because I know sometimes
Yeah,
people think, "Oh, simple is like negative." No, I
yeah,
like the simple, the authentic. It's very
yeah,
traditional to me the way
yeah,
and because it's like it's a nod to your namesake, skaldic works. You think of
yeah,
what a skald may have had
yeah,
in terms of their
yeah.
uh we call it attire and things, and it was
Oh
probably
yeah,
modest. It wasn't anything, even though they were a very
yeah.
important person to like the
Oh yeah,
nobility. I mean, the skald was the storyteller, so
yeah.
the retelling of
Oh yeah,
great tales and heroics and things. Like, they had a place in the
yeah,
king's courts and stuff, so they were
yeah,
important people. But I'm sure that their day-to-day attire or
yeah,
whatever was pretty modest and simple,
yeah,
nothing too crazy.
yeah,
So it's almost like, in that simplistic way,
yeah.
you're preserving the
Oh
title of
yeah,
stalled,
yeah,
and upholding it in a very humble and
yeah,
honorable sort of way.
yeah. Yeah, I was also thinking about like one of these days just go doing like a hooded cloak kind of thing,
Yeah.
where just my eyes are not visible, you know.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
And it's kind of like similar. If you are you familiar with they're not together anymore right now. They're called Bloat.
Yeah. Yep. I know who you're talking
They
about.
played in monk robes
Mhm.
and stuff at one point, and I was like, I want to do something like that with a more mysterious look to it, and put like a more ambience to it.
Yeah.
My performances.
Get a few fog machines or something.
Oh yeah,
For
or
certain songs.
get like a skull like right here with a hood over it or something.
Oh, yeah, like a prop. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of thing going on. I'm just toying around with eyes right now.
See, if I had a stage prop, it'd probably be like a great big heron or something.
Oh yeah,
That'd be kind of hip.
or like a heron outfit.
Yeah, like a cloak full of feathers or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like you have feathers tied to your like you have like a wing, like you have wings down here.
Oh yeah, like yeah,
Yeah, like attached
have
to
them
your
hang
arms.
down.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
yeah, and then have like a beak.
Just a big yellow branch hanging off my face.
Yeah, like a big like black branch or something, like a beak or something.
Yeah, yeah,
And it's like
yeah.
and then you have a hood right here to mimic,
That might
and
be
like
that might be a
feathers poking
costume.
out.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
might be
and
like a ritual costume or something to make for if I ever get to telling my saga of the heron
yeah,
that flew to hell.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's
You
like
haven't heard
I
that
don't
one
know.
yet.
Yeah, I don't know how I'm gonna wear a horse mask. The horse's skull will be kind of interesting, kind of like Mary Lode kind of ideal.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you got to watch out though, because in that culture, it's one thing, but then you talk about horse heads on sticks. That's a kneading pole.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's
Gotta watch
purpose
out.
behind it. It's
Yeah,
like
right.
it's like Mary Lou is a different concept though. It's like a hobby horse kind of thing.
That's a Welsh tradition, isn't it?
Well tradition, yeah.
Where she
Yeah.
comes and you have to sing to her, or she sings to you, or something like that.
It's like a rap battle.
Yeah,
Like it's kind of like
yeah. It's fighting.
it's kind of like fighting, but in song,
Yeah.
I think. And it's supposed to be Mary Lou comes in and makes rhymes about how you're supposed to let her in, and then you're supposed to come up with rhymes until that why you shouldn't let her in, and it goes back and forth until the homeowner cannot come back with any more uncommon, and then if that happens, it comes in and raids your liquor.
Yeah, and
But
it's a
but it's
Christmas
not
day.
just,
It's a Christmas tradition, apparently.
yeah, and it's not just they don't just raid your liquor, they just also sing songs, play games as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
Uh,
whole procession kind of thing that comes in with it. You
yeah,
have
they
the hobby
raid your
horse.
they
You have
raid
the
your
person that has the
food and
hobby
drink.
horse, and then you have like the handlers.
Yep.
It's kind of like wassailing.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Mm.
It was first recorded in 1800, with subsequent accounts of it being produced into the early 20th century. Uh, as a tradition performed at Christmas time by groups of men who would accompany the horse on its travels across the local area. And although the makeup of such groups varied, they typically included art, um, or they included an individual to carry the horse, a leader, and the individuals dressed as stock characters, such as
Yeah,
Punch and Judy. Punch and Judy is a traditional puppet show. Anyway, so the men would carry the merry load to local houses. They would then
yeah,
request entry through song. The
yeah.
householders would be expected to deny them entry again through song. And
Song.
then the two sides would continue their response to one another in this manner. And if the householders eventually relented, the team would be permitted entry and given food and drink.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
To be in the room, or to be in the at the doorway, or to be in the presence of that when it's happening, I would love to
Yeah.
hear that. That would be so cool to
Oh
see
yeah.
that. Would you want to be on the uh the 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 side of the door trying to gain entry, or would you rather be on the side of the door trying to keep them out? Which would you rather be?
Both.
Okay. Well, you can't be
I,
both
I
at the
want the
same
experience. I
time.
wouldn't mind having the experience of doing both
Okay, let's say you got
because
invited to one right now. Let's say you got invited to a Christmas Welsh Mary Load procession, and they said you got to be on the Mary Load side, or you got to be on the householder side. Which would you
I would
choose?
probably be, I would probably be on the Mary Lord side.
You want to gain entry
But
to get the food and the
yeah,
drink.
but I also would like to see what kind of stories they would tell and what kind of, because when they getting entry, they will tell stories and sing
Yeah.
songs and stuff and make merry, and then the hobby horse will just run around like a little, kind of like a jester kind of like thing.
Well, it's funny. Like they say that it's the on this side, the gaining of entry is done through song. So
Yeah,
you would imagine it's almost like if you
yeah,
think of like the old the,
hmm,
is the Three Little Pigs. The Big Bad Wolf.
yeah, yeah,
Little pig, let me in. That's the
yeah,
song. And then what do they
yeah,
say? Not by the hair of my chinny chin chin.
yeah,
And I wonder if it's something
yeah,
like that. I wonder if it's something like
yeah,
that, but the Welsh version of it, where there's
yeah,
a traditional meter or something that they keep to
yeah,
do
or
that.
saying that they say, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That
But
would just be
I
so
wonder
cool.
how many people actually just relent fun in it. You know,
How about say that one more time, because you kind of
I
broke
mean,
up on me.
they probably try and then they just give up after a while. It's like, come in.
Fine, here, have a cookie. I don't know. If I had,
Is
I would want to be on the side of being in the inner. I would want to be in the household, and here's why. I would want to see if
yeah.
I can do if I can best the Mary Load, right? If I can
Oh yeah.
do better than that. If I can outwit you or out sing you, like
Yeah.
that would be why I would want to be on that side.
Oh yeah.
But at the same time, I would like to try to get my way in. Like, how relentless can I be?
Yeah.
Let
Yeah.
me try. Let me try.
But
Let
I
me
would
try.
also like to see what they do when they come in too.
Yeah, is there like a
You can
plate
see
form already?
like what they do inside, because again, they do games, they do all kinds of things. They'll hang around for just a little bit and then they go to the next door, and that's how they go door to door, and then they'll come in for a little bit, play games, tell stories, and then move on. Yeah, and
Yeah, they never
it's
stick around for very long. They just hit
yeah,
their
it's
target
like
and next.
it's like maybe about 15 to 30 minutes, and then they're gone. Yeah.
Yeah.
But imagine if it was actually liquor involved, though, and you're the one that trying to gain entry, and you gain entry. a bunch of times, and you're just raiding liquor.
Yeah, the games wouldn't
Alcohol.
last for very long. You'd be like, you might get a few houses in, and then you'd be like, well,
You
yeah,
can start
okay.
losing.
You'd
You
start
get
losing
your
a lot.
wits. Yeah.
You'd lose your wits, and you'd lose the game, and then you wouldn't be gaining entry no more, and then you just end up passed out on some poor farmer's lawn or
Yeah.
something, you know?
Unless you're able to be still remember over tongue while drunk,
I mean, that's possible.
or there's a way to continue to drink and remain sober enough by eating stuff.
That's the trick. That's the trick. You got to be able.
Yeah.
You got to start off on a full stomach, and then you got to
Yeah.
eat the right things along the way. So there's
Yeah.
a strategy behind this.
Yeah.
There's got to
Yeah.
be
Lots of cakes and cookies, I guess.
cakes, some
Lots of
cookies, some
sweets.
fatty meats,
Sweets.
maybe. You know, some
Yeah.
nice salted pork or something. You know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That sodium keep
Something-
those electrolytes up.
Yeah, like something whatever is like in the household or whatever is traditional of that time, like
Right.
for merrymaking and stuff.
Yeah.
It's
Some
like
mulled wine and this and that.
oh yeah, some whatever they had for cakes or cookies or sweets then tarts.
Probably, yeah. I don't know. I guess it's winter time, so
Yeah.
they're probably
Mhm.
a lot of the grains that they've stored up. Well, this is also the 1800s, like so we're not talking like
Yeah.
medieval times or anything.
Yeah.
They got
This is like Victorian times.
yeah, well, yeah, probably. So, but I'm
Prob-
sure that they still had to harvest their
Yeah.
grains in the fall, and
Yeah.
if they had any canned goods, any fruits from the
Yeah.
summer that they had canned.
Yeah.
But it was probably
yeah.
pretty basic. I'm sure they had some meats and stuff that they smoked or they had
Oh, yeah.
from the hunts, and that they would go
Yeah.
on, or their
Yeah.
because I remember growing up, we used to slaughter our steers in the spring for
Mhm.
the summer and the fall eating. So we would always do 2 slaughters a year. We would do one in the spring and one in the fall, and that way we
Mhm.
had enough meat to last us through the winter.
Yeah.
But during the winter, we were also
Mhm.
hunting, so we didn't have necessarily steers and fattening up for slaughter, but we were harvesting venison and turkeys and
Yeah.
geese and things like that.
Yeah.
So,
And there's probably also like other things that they did because a lot of older traditions too was like dried fruits and stuff.
yeah, because I mean, it
And
lasted.
nuts. And
Nuts, yeah.
Yeah, like chestnuts, walnuts.
These nuts, got him. No, just kidding.
Mhm.
I had to throw that in there. Yeah, that's probably how they did it. I don't know. So,
Yeah.
but I think we're gonna wrap this one up there, Blake.
Yeah.
It's been a couple hours, so
It's
thank
been
you for
great.
tuning
We
in.
kind of got off of the pagan subject there.
It was a definite. I mean, it's cool though. We definitely leaned into the randomness of the ramblings this week.
Yeah.
Had a few cool comments and questions come in. It was pretty lightweight tonight on the
Yeah.
audience, but that's that's just that's the way it goes sometimes.
Yeah.
What we got here? Schizo says, before I gave up the drink, I had 75 shots at my sister's wedding. How were you still walking straight after 75 shots? Shots of what? It couldn't have been anything that strong. Goodness gracious. I don't know whether to congratulate you or to scold you there, sir. I don't know. But
Was it Jello shots?
Jello shots, goodness. But I mean, shit. Even after that, you might not be drunk, but you'd have diabetes. Jello shot, goodness gracious. You too, Bernard. Thanks for coming.
I have a friend, one of my best friends. He's also heathen like me. He's my closest mate, and he got drunk at my friend's wedding, the one I told you about. That's in Wales. He got hammered. It was just, we were counting. It was like what we were counting like for a while, and the first time I ever seen him like up chug beer.
80 proof. Oh man. 75 shots of 80 proof liquor.
Ooh.
Look, even if let's do the math. So like, let's say the wedding is
Yeah.
5 hours long. Let's just be
Yeah.
generous. Let's just say, from 5 o'clock in the evening to 11 o'clock at night, and you're
Yeah.
drinking 75 shots. Let's break that down.
Yeah.
So, if you do 10 shots an hour for 5 hours, that's still only 50 shots.
Yeah.
In 60 minutes, you'd have to have a shot every 5 to 7 minutes. You know what I mean? Like, there's no freaking way. There's no way, dude. How? Who's keeping count? Who was keeping count? There ain't no way. There ain't no way, man. There ain't no way. I mean, I guess there's a way.
How are you alive?
How are you? How do you?
How's your liver? I mean, how's that liver doing?
Right? Yeah. Have you talked to him lately? Is he okay? Like,
I mean,
goodness gracious.
I mean, I'm conservative with my drinks, man. It's like I don't drink excessive, you know.
Yeah, and I mean, even in my craziest, wildest days, which I on the scale of crazy, I never got very wild, but I mean, I was a young, red-blooded American man. I mean, I've been in some pretty, situations where I put my shit to the test, but no, like 75 shots at a wedding.
Yeah.
Maybe, I mean, damn.
Yeah.
I would pass out I mean,
I would probably be 6 feet under.
Yeah, that's
or lower.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Well, on that note, stay hydrated, everybody.
Drink
lots of water,
sir.
Yeah. And thank you for the folks that did come along through the last 2 hours and comment. I know this was a pretty light audience tonight, but at least we did keep some people watching. So thank you all. This will be out on the regular platforms too. So if you have caught this later on, listening to it, watching it wherever, thank you for your support. Thank you for being here. Check out Blake's stuff. He's on Scaldic Works on YouTube, Facebook, and are you on Instagram or not really?
I have it. Yep, on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Swat the Fly or Spotify. Sorry,
That's
Pandora. Right. If anybody still has that, Deezer.
Deezer, yep.
iTunes, Apple Music, iHeartRadio.
There you go. So Scaldic Works.
All the stuff except for SoundCloud.
Yeah. I didn't have it in the original script, but I'll go ahead and add it later on. So Blake's got a link tree for where he's all at. So just if you just Google him, Scaldic Works, you'll find stuff, I'm sure. So check out his music, support him in any way that you can, and then check out my stuff too. It's the link tree's down there in the description already. So support Midgard Musings in whatever way that you can. If you want to become a patron on Patreon, like Blake over here, he's got the idea. He's done the thing. And thank you all for being here.
I haven't utilized it much lately, but I still support you.
Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate it greatly. And I'll be sending out my rune readings to you and the others here this week. I'm sorry I'm behind on it, but it's coming out.
That's fine.
So, but I
do appreciate you. Come out anyway.
I hope you're one of the few that I get to talk to that I send every month, and so I hope that they're beneficial or they speak to you in some way. But yeah, everybody that's watching this, be sure to support Blake. Check his stuff out at Scaldic Works on social media and wherever you're following him. And that does it for this week's episode. So thank you all so very much for your support. Blake, hang out for just a minute before I send these people off, or after I send these folks off. And to everybody else, thank you so much for your support. Until we see each other again, may the gods continue to notice you, and may your ancestors smile upon you. Thanks so much. We'll see you in the next one.